Hey Witch, I'm Luna Seranova, and you're listening to Good Witch, Bad Bitch. Hello everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Another day, another dollar, you know what I mean? Today we're talking about the Clairs, which I'm very excited about. So I was actually super surprised when I saw that I had not done an episode on the Clairs. I really thought I did. I don't know. I really thought I did. It's something I talk about a ton, and I just think it's something that I need to share with you guys. You know, maybe you guys don't know about it, or maybe this information will help you kind of discover which one you feel most called to. Again, we've got a little video podcast coming to you. So if you guys want to check out the visuals and see my face, come check me out on YouTube and I will have the visual for you there. So a couple housekeeping, knock, 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 housekeeping. My old teacher used to do that. It was so funny. Shout out David McKay. Love ya. But yeah, knock, knock, housekeeping. Couple of housekeeping things to chat about. Again, readings are on my website and HeyHero. I will never DM you to solicit you for a reading. They got the scammers out there now, you guys, okay? Instagram, I don't know, TikTok. People are making fake accounts of me and trying to hop into your DMs and get you to send them money. And that's something I'm not going to do. I'm always just at Luna Seranova. My name, it's all I'm ever gonna be. Okay, I'm not gonna have any weird things, so just keep that in mind. Stay smart out there. We've got Patreon book club coming at you hot for Aquarius season. So check out the Moon Fam on Patreon if you want to join that. We've also got tons of stuff like full moon goodies and weekly astrology forecasts, weekly tarot, pick a card, the amazing Discord community, and tons of exclusive content. For example, January we just did a Magical Days of the Week class, which is so exciting, and I'm hoping I have a goal of, I don't know what the number is, but once I get to a specific number of patrons, I should be able to dedicate that time towards creating these classes and consistently giving you guys these classes every single month. Right now, exclusive content, it's either like an extra YouTube video or maybe a Book of Shadows page or a class like it just was, or meditation or something. So yeah, hop on over there if you guys want to get the replay of that class, or if you don't want to do Patreon, if you're just like, nah, it's not for me. The class itself is up for purchase on my website, so if you just want the class, none of the other shenanigans, you can get that on my website. I'll have it linked down below. And then last thing is I've got my premiere course coming out, honestly today, right now. It's available. Go buy it. By the time this comes out, you guys, it'll be up and you can hop into the course. It is the first one I've ever done, so I hope you enjoy. I worked very hard to make it as affordable as I could, so definitely, I also have a payment plan as well, because this is something that I think needs to be very accessible. It's intro to intuition, so it is something that is like the foundation of spiritual pursuits and things like that. So I really wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted to could come and join. It's gonna be a very deep dive, but it is beginner friendly. So if you're new to it, you don't have to worry. We're gonna start from the beginning and then we're gonna work our way forward and get pretty deep into intuition and figuring out how you can really reclaim your intuition, because it is something we all have. Maybe it's just a little bit dormant sometimes, but we all have it. And that leads us into what we're talking about today. So what are the Clairs? If you're like, who's Claire and why did she get a whole episode? Claire, the Clairs are, I don't even know what I'm saying. The Clairs are basically different forms of psychic perception. So when we think of intuition, we're directly relating to these things. When we think of psychic perception and mediumship, these are kind of the avenues in which these messages come to us. So clair is, I think, French for clear. Maybe it's Latin, who knows, but it basically means clear. So when we think of probably the most well recognized clair that we hear about, even in mundane life, is clairvoyance. And what that is saying is clear sight. So, I'm actually learning French right now, so I'll get back to you. If I find out that sight is like voyance, I'm going to be so excited because that's one word I already know. But basically it means clear sight, clear vision. We'll get into each of them, but clear, it just means clear. But when we talk about the clairs, we're talking about a specific set of different kind of ways that psychic information comes to us. So that's that. I guess that explains it. Yeah, I felt like I had more to say about this section, but yeah, it's not something that, I think, like in our society, we think like, oh, that person's a medium, like that person was born with that gift, like that's something that I don't have, and I can't get because it's just like something they're born with. But that's not necessarily true. It's the same way in that some people are born with really good artistic ability. Like they just have that artistic eye, they can see things. That doesn't mean that you can't develop it. And I would argue that, yeah, every human is creative. Like every human has creative instincts. So it's like that. It's not like someone's born with blonde hair and you gotta dye your hair to be blonde. It's like, no, everybody has this. So that's one thing. I think it's often thought that only special people have this, and it's something, I've even gotten comments on my TikTok of people saying like, hey, is it weird that someone's offering a class on how to be psychic? That might sound weird, but it's actually not that weird. That's kind of what I'm doing with the Intro to Intuition, right? It's not weird because, if it's coming from a genuine, obviously if it's a scam, it's a scam, but it's something that can be taught. It's not something that's weird inherently because it is a skill, like you wouldn't think it's weird for someone to take an art class. Same thing, basically. So that's the tea on the clairs. That's Claire's tea. So I want to dive in. Sorry, I've been feeling like such a silly mood today, so I hope you guys are here for it. Speaking of here for it, I've been just randomly, this is so off topic, but I just want to share it with you guys, just using very potent Gen Z slang on my millennial husband, and it's been super funny. What did I say the other day? I'm trying to think of the things I can say, because there's some things that are pretty heavy curse words, and I think I'd get demonetized. But oh, what did I say? Like we were watching a show and someone had like a huge face of makeup. It was really good. And I said, oh my God, they are beat to the gods. And he said, what the fuck did you just say to me? And I was like, they are beat to the gods. And it makes him so angry, you guys. It's so funny. Because he's a Virgo Mercury. So when he doesn't understand something, he actually gets upset, which is kind of mean that I'm doing that, I guess. That's me. That's on Aries Mercury, okay? You put an Aries and a Virgo Mercury together, it's a shit show. But yeah, so it's really, really funny. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Also, we have an outdoor kitty cat that's been visiting, and I'm looking out my window right now, and he just hopped the fence, and he's outside of our yard. So everyone say hi to outdoor kitty cat. Okay, back to it. Let's jump into the different types of clairs. So I feel in my research, my time here on Earth in the spiritual realm, that there are like clairs that I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say. I feel like they're the main clairs, and then there are the like etc. clairs that I just don't feel like are as not as potent, but as, I guess, prevalent. And that's totally biased on my part. So I'm including every clair I've ever heard anybody ever talk about. Some of them are a bit, there's one that's like basically the same thing as another one. I'm going to talk about that too. But I'm going to jump into them, and then I'll give you the list of them, and then we'll go into each of them one by one. So the first one, we've got clairvoyance. Like I said, clear sight, most known thing. We've got clairsentience, which is clear feeling. We've got clairaudience, which is clear healing. Oh shit, that got me. Clairaudience is clear hearing. Clairtangency is clear feeling. Claircognizance is clear knowing. Clairgustance is clear taste. Clairalience is clear smelling. And clairempathy is clear empathy, right? So we're gonna go into those each, just for those of you who maybe are taking notes, if you want to just jot those down, and then we'll jump into them all. I feel like sometimes when I'm taking notes on things, I will underestimate how many like sectors of things we're gonna go into, so I'll like allot certain spaces, and then my notebook will be trashed. I don't know if you guys get that, but just, I don't know. That's basically the thought process there. So jumping back to the top, clairvoyance, clear sight. So like I said, this is the one that we hear about the most. I'm not sure why. I just think that the idea of seeing ghosts is something that really fascinates us. So clairvoyance, it's something you see, I don't know, I think The Sixth Sense is like about that, but I've never seen it. It's a big thing in our media, you know, and then when you hear about mediums, a lot of times they talk about clairvoyance, and it's interesting, you know, it's like, why is that the one we chose to focus on as a society? And I guess I think probably why that is because we are in a very, you know, we've tilted to the yang, we've tilted to the masculine, and we're in a society that really favors being able to prove things and to see things with our own eyes. So if you have clear knowing, or if you hear things, it's like, at best, people think that maybe you're kind of like got some wisdom, but at worst, maybe people think you're insane. But if you can see things, yeah, people might still think you're insane, but for some reason, I think it carries more merit in our society, which totally is not true. You know, all of these are, you know, are valid and are conveying the psychic message that they need to. So there are actually two types of clairvoyance: internal and external. And I never would have worded it that way, but it makes so much sense. And I found this wording from Matt Arn's book, Psychic Witch. Highly recommend it. If you guys have not read it, it's really, really good. It dives into the clairs further than I'm going to today, and it's just really helpful. It has a lot of exercises and stuff. But basically the idea is that internal clairvoyance is kind of like, maybe you are, like something I've had is in meditation, and then maybe an ancestor or passed on loved one comes and visits you, and you can see them very clearly, and you're having these visions. Think of like That's So Raven, you know? So it's that clear seeing from an internal kind of way, whereas the external clairvoyance is when we see orbs, when we see shadows, when we see ghosts, which is something that I've experienced, but only as a kid. And while I still can see like orbs and like, it's more of a sense thing, it's more of a clairsentience thing, which we'll get into next, but it's less of like seeing these things clearly. So those are the two different types. And I feel like for me, it's been easier to develop the internal clairvoyance. And I think it's probably truly just that I am naturally, one thing I'll mention is that we're all naturally kind of better at one or two or a little bit more, but we're better at a few than we are at others. So we'll have others that are a lot more challenging for us to access, but then some that just like come so easily. They just come super naturally. So, I think clairvoyance is one that I naturally am pretty good at, but I think I, for a while, shut down the external clairvoyance, so that's something I'm currently working at being able to see a bit better. But then again, it's like, do I want to see ghosts? Like, it was a little bit traumatic for me as a kid when I was seeing ghosts and shit. It's like, I want to go to bed. I don't want to see this shit. Like, can you guys leave me alone? You know, but nowadays I think it'd be cool. So, I don't know. We'll see. But basically, clairvoyance is that clear seeing, so you're seeing things in meditation or in real life. You're seeing things, whether that's orbs or movement or actual physical people or things like that. So that's clairvoyance. The next one is clairsentience, which is clear feeling. This one gets confused with claircognizance a lot because they're similar. One is clear knowing and the other is clear feeling. So clairsentience is clear feeling, and this is, instead of a thought or a knowing, it's a vibe. This is the vibiest, right? This is the vibiest of them all. And I'm realizing that I had listed clairsentience and clairtangency both as clear feeling. That's accurate, But if you're confused, if you were like, is she messed that up? I didn't mess it up. I'll explain it in a second. Anyway, back to Clairsentience. This is when you walk into a room and you have like that rush. You're like, oh shit, there was a fight in here, or you feel the vibe is off. You feel that your partner, like a lot of people who are clairsentient, me and one of my best friends, Abby, we're both very clairsentient. And we have talked about when our husbands are in a mood, like when they're having a bad time or if they've had a bad day, it sucks for us if we're not consciously putting up boundaries and, protection, which kind of you don't want to necessarily. Like, I feel like me and my husband kind of like our orbs of auras just like merge. Like, we're just like the same person. But when he's in a bad mood or if he's having a rough day and he just needs to feel those feelings, I don't want to always absorb them. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta put up those barriers, because if you're clairsentient and you're with somebody who you know very well, like a partner or a parent or a friend, and they're feeling, these feelings, you will probably pick up on them, okay? They don't even have to tell you. They don't even have to give you vibes. And it annoys my husband sometimes because I'll just be like, why are you upset? Like, you're annoyed right now. And I just know. And he's like, I'm not doing anything. And I'm like, I know, but I know you are. And that's like something I need to work on, because like that's not my place to like out his feelings like that. There are challenges with each of these, which is a section we're going to talk about in Eye to Eye when we dive into having these intuition gifts, and a whole section on ethics and like when to discuss these things and how to, it's hard. You kind of have like another sense that you're working with, and you need to respect people's consent when it comes to reading them. So anyway, it is a clear feeling of, you walk in the room, it's a common thing where you just like know, like the vibes are off, right? Like, there's been a fight, there's been something that has happened, things like that. Then you've got Clairaudience, which is clear hearing, which this is another one that I have. And it's probably why I put these all first, just because these are the ones that I have. Clairaudience is something that I guess it's slowly developed. So a big thing that I want to talk about with this, because this is clear hearing, and a big thing we hear about is like, oh my god, that person hears voices, like they're going crazy. Obviously, like, check with your mental health care provider if you feel like you're going crazy, but it's probably likely that you're not. The biggest thing in my experience with Clairaudience is that I can shut those voices off. Like, I can tell them, like, hey, listen, now is not a good time. Please get the fuck out of here. Sometimes it's easier than others, but it's never voices saying things like, that you should hurt yourself or something like that, where maybe that is indicative of a different kind of thing that might require some mental health help, if that makes sense. But this is more, so I guess there are two, let me think how to describe this. I mean, there are different places where Clairaudience will show up. A lot of times for me, it's kind of, I guess this could, and again, a lot of these merge. This could be emergence with Claircognizance, which is clear knowing, where sometimes when I'm reading tarot or I'm doing meditation, it's like I won't hear something, but it's like kind of like when you read a book and you hear, it's like kind of a voice in your head. It's like that vibe of like it's like, I don't know how to describe it, it's so hard. It's like you hear a thought kind of that's not necessarily your own thought. So maybe you're reading tarot and you're like, oh, okay. And then you get like a couple of things that are like, this is about your job, or this is about blah, 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 blah. That is still, I mean, I think that's Clairaudience, but it could definitely be a mix of Clairaudience and Claircognizance. I do think it's more Clairaudience in my opinion. I'll give you an example of my current vibe happening. I don't know why the spirits love visiting me at night. It's like, can you please come during the day? I am off the clock. Like, I want to sleep. I'm a Pisces moon, guys. I'm trying to take a nap. But truly what it is that when you fall asleep, your brain waves enter a more receptive frequency. Another thing I learned from Psychic Witch book, really good book. So you are more open to those kind of things. So basically, this doesn't happen always. It happens a lot of times when I go to a new place, if I'm in a, I don't know, I think that my husband's parents' house is haunted. Don't tell them. I'm sure they know that too. But I was sleeping there over the holidays, and it's not the first time this has happened. This has happened in my own house and stuff like that. But it'll be at night, and it's like as I'm entering those waves, so I'm like starting to fall asleep. And it's literally like I'm listening to an old radio. It's like I'm hearing a conversation between two people. It's not even like they're necessarily talking to me, but they want me to hear this conversation. And truly, I'm just like, guys, now is not a good time. Now is not a good time. I'm going to sleep. Could you just please leave me alone? Which, like, maybe that's mean if that's, like, one of my ancestors or, like, a passed on family member who's, like, trying to tell me something. I'm just like, get out of here. I'm trying to sleep. They need to know I need my sleep. But, yeah, it's really interesting. And the way that I work a lot with my intuition is kind of like a radio tuner. It's a common kind of like visual that I give myself, because when we're working with intuition and picking up these things, a lot of it is just like tuning to the correct frequency and opening yourself up to that correct frequency. And I think, I don't know, that's something I need to work out. Maybe something I need to meditate on and try to connect with those people again. But yeah, and I also halfway wonder if it is just that they're not even trying to talk to me. They're just like ghosts, and they're trying to talk to each other, and I'm just entering that wave state, and I'm hearing them, and I'm just like, can you guys go to the other room or something? And they do just leave me alone usually. But yeah, I am curious. Nothing they've ever said has stuck with me. It's like, oh my god, it's always just like they're talking about, it's like if you walk by somebody on the street having a conversation. It's like none of that is super prevalent or feels super important. Sorry if it is, Anyway, that's my story. The next one is Clairtangency, which is clear feeling again, but this is a physical feeling. So this is this encapsulates like feeling a breeze or getting goosebumps or feeling someone touch you. And this also encapsulates psychometry. I don't know if that's how you say it, but psychometry, which is a thing that they use often in forensic psychic abilities. I don't know, forensic psychic, but this is something that forensic psychics do. And this is basically when you hold an object and you can pick up psychic information about things about it. So a lot of times if like a child is missing or if they can't find a body to something, they will have a psychic hold an object that belonged to that person, and hopefully they can pick up information on where that person is. So you can also do this with things if you just have an object and you want to learn, where it's been, like the vibes that it's been around, things like that. That's connected to Clairtangency. This is one that I feel like I've got a little bit of, but it's not so much, not super prevalent in my life, but it's definitely like a good big one that I feel at times. I've definitely felt the touches. A lot of times my cats, like any cats that have passed on, I will feel them rub up against me. That happens a lot, actually. I feel a lot of cats. I look down and there's no cat. I'm like, oh shit, all right, which one of you was that? Which is really cute. So goosebumps a lot of times when I'm doing psychic work, which is probably a pretty common thing, and any sensations throughout the body like that. And again, goosebumps, sensations, that can be kind of tied to clairsentience as well. It's kind of just one of those things where it's like, does it really matter where it falls into as long as you're recognizing it and you're using it? Okay, we've got a couple more. We've got claircognizance, which is clear knowing. This is really fun. I swear to God, my mom is claircognizant. Truly, like actually. This is one of those where you just know. This is a pretty common one. I feel like I don't connect with this one so much as I do clairsentience, but a lot of people have this where they maybe just would say they receive a download of information. They just know something. This has happened a couple of times with me where I will know something about somebody before they tell me. Someone will tell me about something that's happened in their life, and I'm just like, I thought you already told me that. Like, I already knew that. So that's something that can come up. That's a way it can come up, or it can come up just knowing about anything in particular, like knowing which option is best, knowing what's going to happen if you do XYZ, knowing what someone's going to look like, knowing something that happened in their life without you actually knowing it. So common one, pretty good. 10 out of 10, we love that one. The next two, I'm going to group them together. This is one that like I've never experienced, and I genuinely can't fathom experiencing this. And that's probably why I haven't experienced it, because I have such resistance to it. This is Clairgustance and Clairaudience. Clairaudience is a little better, but Clairgustance, this is clear taste. If someone puts a cigarette in my mouth, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm doing a reading and I just taste cigarettes in my mouth, I'm gonna lose it. No, I don't like that. Don't invade my space like that. You know, it's really funny because a lot of people talk about when they work with specific deities, they'll smell a specific smell or they'll taste whiskey, things like that. One time I went to this haunted mansion in Arkansas. I don't remember what it was called. But basically they were like, a lot of people smell cigarette smokes here or whatever, and we don't allow smoking here. They were just telling us about some of the haunted things with it, but I'm just totally not into Clairgustance. I'm sorry. I don't want to taste anything that's not there. You know, Clairaudience I'm a little bit okay with. I'll smell something. You know, like I'll smell something. That's fine. I don't want to taste anything that I did not put in my mouth. You know? But these are two really, I feel like they're similar. Taste and smell is pretty closely tied together. In my experience, this is something that's not very common. Like I feel like I don't hear people talk about this a ton. It's totally not common in my practice, but it's still something that people have. So I want to share that with you guys. I'm sorry I don't have more information on like personal anecdotes for you guys, but I really just haven't experienced it. So that's the tea on that. And the last one is Clairempathy, which I included because it was listed in the Psychic Witch book, and I was like, let me just include it. But I really think Clairempathy is just Clairsentience. Empathy is being able to feel, not only understand, but feel what somebody else is feeling, which is the same thing as Clairsentience, in my opinion. So because of that, I really just link them together. It just feels like the same thing, but I still wanted to include it. Maybe you feel like there's a difference for you. Maybe Clairempathy feels different than Clairsentience, and that's totally fine. Whatever you feel like you connect with best. But for me, they're the same thing. So those are the Clairs. Woo-wee! I hope you guys took some notes. I'm excited for you guys to develop those and to explore them in yourself. Like I said, we're going to really dive into these in Intro to Intuition. We're going to kind of do some exercises to really see which one we are more connected to. So if you're like, I don't know, how am I supposed to know which one I'm more connected to? You will find out in Intro to Intuition. We're going to have a lot of exercises and meditations to help you really channel in on whatever one is coming out. And I will be there to help and everything. So yeah, you just let me know. You let me know. And I'll have the link for that in the description if you guys want to join as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Just continue working on your psychic skills, and the best advice I can give you is just be aware, be mindful, and you'll start to notice, like, okay, when I'm doing, and you might not even know, when you're doing meditation, when you're doing tarot and stuff like that, you'll be getting these information downloads. You'll be feeling the things, you'll be hearing the things, and you might just be like, oh yeah, that's an information, but you're not really focusing on where it's coming from, what it feels like, things like that, to where you could then like really zero in on it and say, yes, okay, love that, thank you, universe, keep bringing me that. So just be mindful and let those experiences come in and really fully just vibe with them and accept them. So that's the best advice I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. That's all I have for you guys today. Definitely check out the Patreon if you have not already. It's a way you can get a little bit more of a deep dive into these things with me. Book club, exclusive content, all the beautiful things like that are going to be on there. Other than that, I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you all next time. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd encourage you to stick around. I've got tons more content for you here on the podcast and over on YouTube under my name, Luna Seranova. Make sure to follow me at Luna Seranova on Instagram for everyday witchy content. And if you'd like to share your support in a super easy and free way, go ahead and rate this podcast to let others know what you thought. My books are open for tarot and astrology readings. I've just released 2 new specialty readings, the Good Witch reading and the Bad Bitch reading, each to help you connect to your higher good witch, bad bitch self. Go ahead and check out my website for more details on that. And if you're ready to up your good witch, bad bitch game with a group of fun, supportive, and loving witchy friends, you should join my Moon Fam on Patreon, and you'll get access to our group chat on Discord, our book club, and other behind the scenes and exclusive content that you'll only get on Patreon. All right, love, I'll see you next time. Until then, go forth in your life with the power and love of the good witch, bad bitch.